Alright guys, welcome to NotSoStockGaming's semi-pro tournament for August 2nd. We have actually only 8 teams participating tonight. It's going to be a pretty small tournament, but these are all higher ELO teams. We do have Inc. in the bottom bracket there. That is technically Diamond Tim. A number of summoners have reported that, and we are aware they are technically a Challenger 5v5 team, but they do not have any summoners above the Diamond 1 ranking in solo queue, so they will be allowed to participate tonight. We also have a number of repeat faces. Finding Summoner's Rift is a team that I recognize there on that bracket. Short Circuit is a newer team, but composed of summoners from previous teams. We've also got Team Chromatic we saw out last week. And a few new faces on the roster here as well. So, could be a surprise, could be some upsets. Let's see if Inc. can be defeated tonight. We're going to catch them in round 1. And they're going to be against 3.2k TR, which is 1300 RP, and a Triumphant Ryskin. These guys are confident. We'll see if their confidence pays off as they face up against the number 11. I apologize. Against the number 11 in a 5v5 team. Alright, so I'm into this lobby. It looks like it's all members of Team Inc. who have gotten in here already, so we're just waiting for their opponents. Take a look at what their rankings are when they get in here, see what kind of match we're going to have. We have seen Inc. almost defeated, I believe, 2 different games, though they did make the comebacks and emerged victorious for those tournaments in the past. See if there'll be a first repeat winner of a semi-pro event, as they did win our semi-pro event last week, though they did not manage to take the open bracket twice in a row. They were knocked out in the second round last night, technically due to a disqualification, I believe. They only had 4 summoners available to play, so they were not able to start their round 2 match, and they had to forfeit there, unfortunately. Once again, guys, this is NotSoStockGaming's semi-pro bracket tournament. This is obviously August 2nd. I should hope we all know where we're at in the month. New month, more fun. Just waiting for both teams to get into this game here. Take a look at the brackets again. We're going to have Team Chromatic versus Short Circuit in the A bracket. Team World Class versus Happy Face in the B bracket. Finding Summoner's Rift versus Insert Clever Name. Insert Clever Name, actually a new team to our tournaments, though I recognize some of the names on that roster, including Hearth Mall, who I faced personally in a Mobifire tournament about 4 or maybe 5 months ago. They are a diamond ranked team, I believe, so we could have them winning that first round game depending on how Finding Summoner Rift performs, and then a contest in the semifinals as either 32k RP plus Triumphant Ryskin, that is the team name, versus Inc. right now in the round 1 bracket. We'll see if they can emerge victorious to those semifinals, or if it's going to be Inc. versus Insert Clever Name, or if we're going to have crazy upsets and go with Finding Summoner's Rift versus 3.2k TR. Of course, the upper brackets there, I'm not going to comment on the Team World Class versus Happy Face, as I'm not familiar with either of those teams. But Team Chromatic and Short Circuit should be an interesting contest as well. Both of those are repeat entry teams. Oh, lobby died. Just checking why that lobby may have gotten cancelled. Seems like there's a little bit of confusion from those teams. Alright, so apparently it is going to be Team Inc. advancing to the semifinals here by forfeit, as their opponents were not actually available. That is quite unfortunate, but we're going to find another round 1 game here to jump into. See if Short Circuit has gotten started yet. So we have Team Inc. advancing by default into the semifinals. I'll get that recorded onto the bracket. And then we're going to find another matchup here to follow in just one moment, guys. Alright, it's going to find a member from Team Chromatic, see if we can get an invite from them, make sure that they know the bracket has been released. Okay, might have that one. Nope. Alright, so just going to have to add a member of Team Chromatic here so we can get the tournament underway, potentially. Actually, Zekrom. I keep thinking I have people on my list, and apparently I don't. So, get that fixed up after I remove some random people, apparently. So we will get the Team Chromatic versus Short Circuit game going momentarily, hopefully. Once again, guys, this is Not So Stock Gaming's semi-pro bracket tournament tonight. This is Dark Orb shoutcasting for you. Apologize that we are currently looking for a match as there was a round 1 forfeit. Let's see who else is playing here. Happy Face. And insert clever name. I think I might have Hearth Mall on my friends list still, actually. No, maybe not. Hearth Mall is a member of insert clever name. So we'll check out Finding Summoner's Rift. Just in case we can't get a member of Team Chromatic to add us there. Make sure that we have all of the stops covered. Oh, there we go, we got Zekrom. That is a member of Team Chromatic. So it seems like we've contacted both teams from the Team Chromatic versus Short Circuit game. Hopefully we'll get a confirmation that's going to be happening momentarily. Looks good, looks good. Hello, Kiwi Moose in the Twitch chat. Alright, into the lobby, guys. Looks like Lust Boy, Zekrom, Kumafuka. It is mainly the summoners from Team Chromatic. X-Requiem, I do believe, is from... Oh, I just forgot their name. Go back to the bracket. Short Circuit. So it's Team Chromatic on the blue side versus Short Circuit on the purple side. Alright, so Good in the Hood is sitting on the wrong side of the bracket there. Sorry, the lobby. But they're just swapping their orders around a little bit. Looking like Team Chromatic is mainly Diamond 1 summoners with a Platinum 2 coming out of Zekrom. We have the remainder of both teams starting to get into the lobby here, showing, again, mainly Diamond 1 summoners. report from one of the summoners from Team Happy Face that they are going to have to restart their computer before they get their game started. But it is only 2 minutes past the hour, meaning he does have, that is 8 plus 5 is 13 minutes until they can be disqualified for not being ready. So he has lots of time to get that computer rebooted, get back into the game. Got swag in the Twitch chat. Bring your swag, guys. Should be a good matchup here tonight. Some really high ELO teams coming out for this one. Lobby chat, solo queue the devil. Alright, just waiting for one more summoner from both teams from the looks of things. Take a quick look at the Dream since he is showing Challenger tier. Make sure that is a team rank. He is a member of Sugoi Boys. It is a Challenger tier 5v5 team. I'm not sure exactly where they're sitting. Let's take a quick look, see how many points they've got. A recent addition to the Challenger pool, sitting at 0 points. Congratulations to the Dream and your team there on making it all the way up to Challenger. Alright, a Diamond 3 summoner joining the lobby, that is Fight Spice. Not sure which team he is supposed to be on. He is a member of Team Chromatic, so it looks like their entire team now sitting in the lobby just waiting for one more member from Short Circuit to join us. Alright, so we've got 10 summoners into lobby, X-Koki and Good in the Hood sitting on the wrong teams. So we're just going to get the game started momentarily, guys. There is going to be a slight delay here as all summoners prepare for the match. There are still 9 minutes until the match officially has to be started. Once again, we are now following the A bracket game in round 1, that is Team Chromatic versus Short Circuit. So our next game will be the winners of this match versus either Team World Class or Team Happy Face, depending on who wins that B bracket matchup. We also have Team Inc. sitting in a semi-final position already due to 3.2 KTR forfeiting the match because I believe they said 2, if not 3 of their summoners were not available tonight. Finding Summoner Rift and insert clever name. The C bracket matchup that Team Inc. is waiting on to see who their opponents will be in the semifinals. With only 8 teams participating, the nice thing tonight is that one win will qualify those teams for at least 800 RP. That is per team member, up to 5 team members. And 3 wins, 3, I can count that high, will qualify them for 3200 RP and a Triumphant Rise skin per team member. So a fairly small event tonight, but could be quite intense with the rosters I'm seeing. Looking at a lot of Diamond 1 summoners, I know Team Inc. is all Diamond 1 with their Challenger team status. And it appears that Team Chromatic is mainly Diamond 1, with a Diamond 3 and a Platinum 2, though still fairly high ELO summoners. I assume they wouldn't be playing with Zekrom if they didn't feel he was, sufficient for their team. All Diamond 1 down the side of Short Circuit, aside from that Challenger tier, the Dream. Of course, that is a 5v5 Challenger tier. I do forget what his exact rank was. He is Diamond 1 as well. Just waiting for X-Koki here to swap sides as he comes back from being potentially AFK for a moment there as he's preparing. I'm not sure exactly what he's preparing, but he is preparing something. Potentially just spying on the enemy, thinking that he can get additional chat info from sitting on their team. Of course, in the lobby, everybody sees everything. Once again, guys, this is a Not So Stock Gaming semi-pro bracket tournament. We're going to be doing giveaways at 50 and 100 viewers, so if you want to tell your friends to come watch you, tell your friends to come watch you. Chances to win either a mystery skin at 50 viewers or a $10 RP card at 100. A little bit of fun in the chat lobby there, wondering what X-Koki might be doing. Apparently we've had potentially two teams tonight actually not able to field their entire rosters. Getting reports from Team Happy Face that Team World Class may not be responsive, may not actually be available tonight. They did check in, but it does occasionally happen. Alright, so we are still just waiting on X-Koki to return. There are 4 minutes left until Team Short Circuit will be disqualified if they cannot be prepared. Would be an interesting way to get things started. It would be 3 teams winning by forfeit. All the way into the semi-final rounds. 1 win does qualify you for that semi-final position tonight. Rather small bracket. Both teams are here, just waiting on X-Koki to swap to the correct team now. And then both teams will potentially say that they are ready. And we'll get the match started up. Hey, welcome to the Twitch chat, Crazy Horse. I'm glad the streamer didn't give you any problems tonight. We have reports that Vuka Vuka has a 4-year-old dog that can read. I'm impressed. This guy should be famous. He possibly is. I mean, he is sitting Diamond 1. These guys are all famous in my books. Seems like Xkoki might not be returning. Which means that Team Chromatic may get a round 1 forfeit advance here. They do have 1 more minute technically until this match is supposed to be starting. Alright, Xkoki has returned. Alright, so we're gonna get this game started up momentarily, guys. There is 1 minute remaining according to my clock. Actually, about 8 seconds, technically. So we're gonna, give them a 30-second leeway since everybody is actually here. They're just not hitting that start button yet. Alright, Short Circuit has reported they're ready and on time. Just waiting for Team Chromatic now to hit the start button. We're into Champion Select, guys. Once again, these are mainly Diamond 1 summoners with some Challenger team participants. Not an easy feat, even as Diamond 1 summoners, to get that team all the way up to Challenger, maintain that, I think it's like 70-80% win ratio you need. So it looks like Team World Class will not be participating tonight, so that is the second team that is unfortunately forfeit. So we're going to have Happy Face advancing to round 2, meaning that the winners of the matchup we are currently watching, Team Chromatic versus Team Short Circuit, will be facing Team Happy Face in the semifinals. Alright, so taking a look at these bans, they did go through the banning phase really quickly. Team Chromatic banning out Tristana, Morgana, and Amumu. Really strong bans. Tristana is an amazing ADC right now. A little bit of a slow start, but once she gets up to speed, she just does not stop. Morgana, of course, one of the top-rated supports, and Amumu, an all-around strong jungler. Rengar, Kassadin, and Maokai being banned out by Short Circuit. Kassadin a fairly standard ban. I'm going to assume that Maokai and Rengar may be targeted respect bans. So they are bans I'm seeing more and more frequently with the recent changes to League of Legends. Yasuo locked in first for Team Chromatic. An all-around strong champion. Likely going to see him top or mid. Caitlyn and Lee Sin being locked in for Short Circuit. Lee Sin, a really strong early game jungler. Caitlyn, of course, one of the longest range ADCs in the game. Thresh potentially getting hovered over here by Zekrom. I do believe Zekrom is their support, so that's going to be support picking for himself. And Graves showing on Fight Spy as well, just gets swapped out for a Lucian. Do not get to see very many Graves played in our tournaments. However, playing solo queue, I've seen a number of them, and they tend to stomp. So that was back on 4.11, I believe. Not sure if anything major has changed since then. Still hovering over these champion selections, swapping out that Lucian for a Kog'Maw potentially. Not sure what the ADC will be. Alright, so that Kog'Maw does get locked in. seeing an Alistar hovered over, my all-time favorite support champion, though I haven't played him much since the start of Season 4. With the recent rework to Alistar, we are seeing more and more of him. Lulu gets locked in, potentially going to be a mid or top lane. She is showing teleport currently, but we'll see if that gets traded around. Still hovering over this Alistar, not sure if Pokemon Kenobi wants to play it. 3, 1. Alistar gets locked in. Alright, we're gonna see an Alistar come out tonight. Gragas being hovered over by Mukavuka here. It looks like that could be a top or mid lane, as Lustboy is showing the Yasuo, just their jungler left to show his selection. But the Gragas still could be changed. There are 30 seconds, and he's only being hovered over, not yet locked in. J4 being shown here by Good in the Hood. And Mukavuka decides that Gragas might not be the best option for him, switching out for a number of different champions here. Trying to decide what he wants to play. I'm a little bit surprised about the J4 getting swapped out for a Nautilus there, choosing to play something with less of a displacement effect than the J4. Will not synergize as well with that Yasuo pick, though the Gragas ult will make some interesting wombo combos for him. Waiting for Xkoki now to select a champion. I do believe it is just the mid lane that has not been selected for Short Circuit, and a TF will get locked in. Team Chromatic trading those champions around, trying to get everybody onto the right champion. Nautilus goes up to Lustboy as the Kog'Maw comes down to Good in the Hood. Fight Spice appears to be their mid, with Zekrom maintaining that Thresh pick the entire time. There's now 30 seconds for these guys to lock in those runes and masteries, and then we'll be into a 3-minute spectator delay, and we'll have our round 1 game between Team Chromatic and Short Circuit underway. Once again, guys, this is a Not So Stock Gaming semi-pro bracket tournament. This is Dark Orb shoutcasting for you tonight. These are two fairly high ELO teams composed mainly of Diamond 1 solo queue summoners. Alright, we're into spectator delay, meaning that those summoner spells will not be changing. So let's take a quick look at what's going on here. With Lulu and TF showing, of course, the Lulu having the teleport makes me suspect anyway, she will be in the top lane versus a Gragas. So we're going to have AP tops with the AD mid showing for Team Chromatic versus a Twisted Fate on Xkoki, choosing to go Flash Ghost over the Ignite or Heal. See how that Ghost works out for him. Not something we have to see played very often on an AP mid. So with the combination of Destiny Gate, it could work out fairly in his favor. Bottom lane matchup, the Alistar is a fairly decent counter to most supports. Definitely against Leona for sure. Find him fairly easy to play against a Thresh as well, though not quite a hard counter to him. Of course, I haven't looked at his kit as extensively since those reworks, so I do believe his cooldowns were reduced and a mild change to his ultimate, mainly the timing of its activation. Thresh still being good old Thresh. Hooks, throws, and kills. Nautilus, of course, coming to the game with the Thresh. We'll see who has the better hook here. I commented on the Nautilus pick over a J4 and the lack of displacement. I had not considered the ultimate from Nautilus, which will allow him to displace summoners, as opposed to the combo from J4 where he's required to drop his flag, I don't know, his stanchion, and then lance to it in order to displace a summoner. And yet Nautilus will still synergize fairly well with the Yasuo team composition. Two very strong picks here. Sorry, very strong champion selection phases here. Seeming like Team Chromatic wanting to go for the all-in burst composition, and Short Circuit going for a bit of a pick composition here. Lulu being great at stopping all-ins, Alistar being great at locking champions down, either AoE or solo target, depending on exactly how you want to do it. Lee Sin, of course, great for solo target play as well. Alright, so we've gotten through that 3-minute spectator delay. We're going to be into this load screen now, and then onto the Fields of Justice. I always enjoy seeing the trims of these summoners, how much they have changed division since last season, if the patches have been nice to them, or if they've simply maintained that high ELO for their entire life, according to Short Circuit showing those 5 diamond trims. 4 diamond trims and a gold trim on Team Chromatic as well. So both of these teams fielding summoners who have maintained a diamond ELO from last season through to this season, at the very least, aside from Zekrom on the Deep Terror Thresh, moving from gold to platinum. I hear the fields, and I see the fields. We're into the game, folks. Purple ping, they want to head towards the Tribush of their blue opponents. So we may see an invade coming up from Short Circuit. Team Chromatic signaling they want to go to the top half of the jungle, potentially, though their team movement says otherwise. Lee Sin and Caitlyn way ahead of the rest of their team, while Nautilus, Yasuo, and Gragas appear to be moving in a more cohesive unit. Wards come out all around. 3 wards into pixel bushes. Lulu now caught out by a ward. Not sure if she is aware that I do believe she dropped a ward in that bush as well, so there's 4 wards into pixel bushes. The pixel bushes are the small bushes inside of the river. There's 1 near Dragon, 1 near Baron. We are seeing a ward from both teams in each of the 2 pixel bushes. The entirety of Team Chromatic sitting in the blue side's red buff jungle. Red buff area of their jungle, while they have the entirety of Short Circuit, aside from Lulu, poised to both either, sorry, not both and either invade or go back for the blue buff. It appears they will settle to defend that buff. Lee Sin, Caitlyn, and Alistar are sitting right around that Elder Lizard pit. Gragas, Thresh, and Corki going to the bottom lane. It appears that Gragas may be looking to catch out the bottom lane from Team Chromatic, from Short Circuit, potentially going to be sitting in that bush waiting for an easy pick, as they will not expect him to be there. Lulu will hopefully be signaling an MIA here as she notices that Gragas is nowhere to be found. Gragas does have the teleport to head up to that top lane as soon as this play is over. We'll see if his patience here pays off. The hook lands onto Caitlyn. Gragas comes out from the bush, gets knocked up by the Alistar. There's a hard disengage there. Caitlyn and Alistar trying to run for their lives. No more CC left on the side of Team Chromatic here. Gragas will fall off and start his teleport to the top lane. Nope, he's going to go back first. We'll see if he does end up teleporting after this. That is the level 1 shenanigans I would expect from a high elo team. Though to do it in the laning phase as opposed to pre-buffs is a little bit different. Gragas now in the top lane, he did use that teleport. Lulu trying to force him off those minions. I do believe she's level 2 already. As are Caitlyn and Alistar being a full level ahead of the Kog'Maw Thresh pairing on Team Chromatic. Gragas standing there leeching some of that experience will cost them. Level 2 comes out across the board here. Lee Sin waiting in the wings in the mid lane. Yasuo might be in trouble. Nautilus coming up for potentially a counter gank here. Not sure if Lee Sin was spotted out. Lee Sin was spotted out, so Nautilus now behind him. Yasuo trying to fall off that. Lee Sin caught in the pincers. A great Q by Yasuo lands onto both Twisted Fate and Lee Sin. Caitlyn taking a fair amount of pressure from the Kog'Maw down to half health here. A death sentence lands. One more auto attack might do it. She pops her heal. 9 caliber are farther enough away. Oh, but Thresh and Nautilus are both there for first blood going over to the Kog'Maw. Alistar now in a lot of trouble. Tries to flash around. They're running towards the Tribush. Thresh trying to cut him off, but it might not be successful. Alistar trying to pull off all the jukes. Yasuo coming down for this kill. Alistar, it may have been long enough for him to get executed. It may not. I'm not sure if that was past the 10-second mark. That will be an execute. Alistar pulling off all the stops for that. I will say, though Alistar did get himself killed there, he distracted 4 members of Short Circuit, which is fairly advantageous, especially without giving them the 300 gold plus assist gold for his death. They got nothing but a chase. And it will cost him a little bit of experience as Caitlyn is out to the lane before he is taking down those minions. Death Sentence just misses her. And a Q from Yasuo just misses Twisted Fate in the mid lane as we come here as well. I'll get the scoreboard reorganized and we can take a quick look at the farm numbers across the board. A great Q onto Twisted Fate. There's going to be no engage as Yasuo does not yet have his ultimate. Both him and Twisted Fate sitting at level 5. I think the scoreboard is now accurate for everybody. Take a look at the score numbers. Lulu 32 farm to Gragas' 16. This could be due to Gragas' late start in that lane, or she could simply be dominating him. Everybody else looking fairly even across the board. Caitlyn up about 12 farm on the Kog'Maw. Actually, being up 12 farm on the Kog'Maw despite being down a kill is a fairly impressive farm situation for her. Yasuo onto Twisted Fate, gets his ultimate off, and the Ignite. Not going to be quite enough to kill the Twisted Fate though. Nautilus comes in not in time to land anything there. I apologize, I saw Nautilus coming in a little bit late. Twisted Fate managing into that was quite surprising. A great Q from Yasuo, but does not connect. Nautilus and Lee Sin both heading towards that bottom lane. It might get a pincer onto Nautilus. Caitlyn down to about 300 HP. This could be not the situation they were looking for. 3 members versus 3 in the bottom lane. A great headbutt from Alistar getting Thresh into turret range. Thresh goes down first in this fight. Twisted Fate coming to the bottom lane with the gate. See him land that stun onto Nautilus. Nautilus under about 100 HP, pops his shield. One more auto attack and he goes down. Alistar into turret range, one more hit. Alistar goes down to the turret. That is technically a kill for Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw had about 200 HP. Two members of Short Circuit being there to try and finish him off. Lee Sin looking for that Q onto Kog'Maw. He's going to land the Q, but he's not going to go in for it under the turret. No Lee Syndrome on him. Potentially a smart move, potentially a waste of a kill. Of course, if Lee Sin at this level chose not to go in, I'm not going to question his choice there. He is doing fairly well with 2 assists and no deaths, being up 7 farm over his opposing jungler. Twitch chat says the cow goes moo. I agree. But if you mess with the bull, sometimes you get the horns. Looks like Gragas was almost about to recall under his turret there, but Lulu is pushing into his turret, so he's going to stay to pick up that farm while Lulu decides to recall herself. Lee Sin setting up blue buff for Twisted Fate. Thought he was going to take it himself for a moment. Deciding to hand it over to his mid laner instead, though. That is a good call. Gragas in the bottom lane, teleport onto that ward is well timed. Catches Caitlyn with his ultimate, but she's going to get out potentially. Alistar pops his, I think that's his W, the knockup. It's been a long time since I played Alistar, and I don't play with traditional keys. I use QWER instead of the WAS. That is his default. Sorry, I just said that backwards. I'm a pro. I have my skill set up to use ASD as my main skills with W as my ultimate, as opposed to the native QWER. So I do believe that Alistar's knockup is a W. Huge team fight around Dragon here. Caitlyn gets deleted. Thresh has gone down as well. Dragon is going to reset. Lulu running for her life as 4 members of Team Dramatic chase her down into their jungle. Lulu does go down. Lee Sin in trouble here as well. The flashes come out from Lee Sin as well as Gragas. Gragas picks up that kill though. Alistar and Twisted Fate now running for their life as they are pursued. Nautilus lands a nice grab onto him. Flash over the wall, he will escape. Team Chromatic could set up for a dragon here, but it appears that they're going to be happy with those 2 kills. Okay, then Alistar back to pushing this bottom lane. Nautilus set up in the wing to take down the Twisted Fate as Yasuo comes back in, but Nautilus falls off, potentially going to wrap around. No, he's going to decide to recall instead. Lee Sin also near that mid lane, going for his race apparently. I have a little bit of trouble determining when a jungler is going for that Wraith camp and when they're wrapping around to try and take down the mid laner. So it appears that Nautilus was actually trying to clear that Wraith camp and then recalled, as opposed to waiting for the Yasuo for a gank onto the Twisted Fate. Yasuo pushing his lane. Not the hard engage I was quite expecting, but does get a bit of damage on Twisted Fate as Twisted Fate is forced to recall. Kog'Maw sitting at 303 is down by 20 farm to this Caitlyn, who is sitting at 231. Twisted Fate teleporting into the mid lane. Lee Sin and Twisted Fate against the Yasuo. Yasuo stuck under that turret, takes a fair amount of, actually doesn't take that much damage. Down to about half HP here though. Caitlyn does go down in the bottom lane to Kog'Maw. That is a successful gank by the Nautilus. Alistar now taking pressure under his turret. Not taking enough pressure, though. Gragas body slams into the Lulu, but gets transmogrified. Team Chromatic's looking to potentially set up for a bottom turret here if they can push Alistar off of it. That is a turret in the mid lane for TF and Lee Sin. First turret of the game going over to Short Circuit. Kog'Maw and Thresh putting a fair amount of pressure on this bottom turret, though. It is down to about a quarter HP. Alistar is going to be forced off of this. He has tried to counter it at least once there, but Nautilus decided to engage on him. Was forced off the turret momentarily. Alistar already fairly tanky at the 12-minute mark with only his Targon shield and the Sightstone. Caitlyn still power farming in this bottom lane. Alright, so taking a quick assessment of things, it looks like Short Circuit is down by about 4 kills, but only about 600 gold. There's been no dragons so far this game. There was one that was attempted, but it was interrupted. So most of this gold difference here has been negated by a sheer difference in CS numbers across the board. Lulu doing a great job of out-farming the Gragas. Caitlyn doing a great job of out-farming the Kog'Maw. Yasuo and TF being fairly even, though TF is a little bit behind. Remembering that 15 CS is approximately 1 kill worth of gold. Lee Sin was setting up for a gank, but there's a huge countering as Nautilus and the Yasuo come in. So it's going to be a 4 versus 3 in the bottom lane. Caitlyn does go down. Alistar taking a huge amount of pressure. Kog'Maw now unstoppable. He's sitting at 504 when Alistar goes down to him. Team Chromatic making some great plays here against their opponents. Lulu now behind their opponent's Gragas' turret, taking a fair amount of pressure. She may be in trouble. Dragon is still going down here. Nautilus finishes it off with that smite, and they're going to try and force a mid lane push from the looks of things. Only 4 members of Team Chromatic in the mid lane, only 2 members of Short Circuit there to defend. Yasuo deciding instead of pushing the mid lane with his team to recall at this point in time, potentially having enough gold to buy his next item. We have Twitch saying that apparently Pulverize is Alistar's Q. I thought it was his W, I thought Headbutt was the Q. I got those skills a little bit backwards. Hitting the right buttons is always important. More important than knowing the names of those skills. Lulu's stream is transmogulate as she eats a barrel. Caitlyn and Alistar forcing this bottom lane turret down. It is the second turret for Short Circuit, to 1 turret coming out of Team Chromatic there. So both bottom lane outer turrets are down. The mid lane outer turret is down in favor of Team Short Circuit. Both top lane turrets still not really heavily affected. Gragas and Lulu choosing to duke it out in the top lane as I talk about them, putting on a little bit of a show here. Twisted Fate comes up with a gate. That's going to be a kill onto Gragas potentially. Gragas taking 2 more hits than I thought he was going to. That's a great job by Gragas trying to survive that, but he does go down anyways. Nautilus into the Caitlyn. Yasuo dives that completely under the turret, takes the Caitlyn down though. Looks like he's going to pull off the jukes. Gets out the side there. Well played, Yasuo. TF now coming in from the side, lands a decent shot onto the Nautilus, but misses his poke. Nautilus going back in onto the Lee Sin. The Threshold comes out here, and Exhaustus going in on Dexkoki. Dexkoki being the TF for purple side. 3 kills to 0 right now, as Thresh and Yasuo have both gone down. Make that 4 kills to 0 in favor of Team Short Circuit. Alistar going a little bit ham, takes a turret hit. Kog'Maw gets locked down here as well. It's 4 kills to 1 as the Kog'Maw passive takes down TF. That is a great comeback play from Short Circuit, putting them up by 2k gold. They are still down by 3 kills. Caitlyn heading back to her lane to farm it out. A little bit of a wave builds up on blue side. Top lane actually pushed in favor of Team Short Circuit here. Gragas sitting in the mid lane instead of going for his top lane farm. See if that is a strategic choice here or it's going to cost them. Of course, the top lane pushing itself out as those minions had reached the turret, took a few hits, and the next wave progresses. Gragas seems to know what those minions are doing a little bit better than I do. Staying mid was a good choice and leaving his lane locked on their side, meaning that if Lulu wants to go up there to get some farm and try to force that turret, she will be overextending a little bit. Nautilus taking a number of turret hits, getting CC'd under that turret fairly heavily, under about a quarter HP, but he will walk away. Five members of Short Circuit in the mid lane. Actually, 5 members of both team in the mid lane, though Team Chromatic is falling off of this. Actually, Nautilus back in their base having been forced to recolorize. It will be a 4v5 if there's Initiate here. TF and Lee Sin side going for the blue buff. Kog'Maw going for a red buff. Everyone can try to get those farm numbers up a little bit, grab some buffs for themselves, make sure they are set up perfectly for the next fight. Neither side really wanting to initiate this quite yet. Both teams still in this mid lane, sieging fairly hard onto this mid lane turret for Team Chromatic. The purple side outer mid lane turret is down to about a quarter HP. Lulu actually going to that top lane to force some minion pressure onto that top inner turret. Recalls and starting to head back to the mid lane. Looks like Chromatic, that is the difference Chromatic was looking for. They will get 4v5 fight here and take the turret down. Short Circuit just not quite able to keep that turret up with only 4 members of their team there to defend it. There will be an engage as Gragas throws his ultimate. Alistar comes in into the backline. Threshold comes out as well. Huge team fight here. Much confusion. Everybody's starting to get a little bit low. Nautilus might go down here. The ace in the hole comes out onto, I believe that was onto Yasuo, but it does not connect as this get blocked. Slow's coming out all the way around there. TF gonna gate in though. Could be some kills for him. Yasuo goes down to the Caitlyn. The Gragas and Nautilus both go down to Lulu? No, to the TF. Kills now 12 to 12. Short Circuit coming back into this game with a 3k gold lead as they even out those kills. They are up by 1 turn. They're singing for a Baron here, which will not be able to be contested as 3 members of Team Chromatic are already on those respawn timers. Baron down to just below half health here. Quarter health. And that is the first Baron of the game at 21 minutes 40 seconds, going over to Team Short Circuit on the purple side. Twitch is saying that wild cards got him. Yeah, I thought the TF got the kills, but when I looked back up at the screen, I saw the Lulu as the first assist there, and I was like, what? Lulu got it? But I wasn't paying close enough attention to see that TF was the main kill person. Still getting myself reacquainted to the interface here. I've not been playing League of Legends nearly as much as I should be to be doing this effectively. These teams, all of these summoners, much, much better than myself. It's going to be a dragon going over to Short Circuit as well. Uncontested by Team Chromatic, though they did appear to know what was going on. I apologize for being distracted by my admin chat there. Everyone talking about, I think, at TSM and CLG. A little bit of Korean chat going on in the background. Of course, the teams we're watching playing on the North American servers, all sitting at Diamond 1. Wonder how they would do in Korea. What is Diamond 1 NA compared to in Korea? Is that like gold? Platinum maybe? The skill level difference apparently is just so huge as you move over to Korea, where esports is a huge thing across the country. I mean, it's getting bigger here, but unfortunately we're still in our early stages. A little bit of a fledgling esports. See if we can learn anything from our Korean counterparts, bring it up to par. It's going to be a red buff going on to Kog'Maw. Goal score difference of about 7k in favor of Short Circuit, while the kills are completely even, only one turret difference. This is the huge difference in farm we're seeing in the top lane, making a large part of this difference, as Lulu is up about 100 farm over the Gragas. Short Circuit doing a great job of seeing his mid lane, allowing a huge amount of minion pressure to walk into that bottom lane inner turret. Making Team Chromatic make a choice here. Will they defend bottom? Will they defend mid? Split up and do both. Will it be successful is the question. This bottom lane inner turret will go down to Short Circuit, making it 4 turrets to 2. Short Circuit making a huge comeback tonight. They did start out a little bit behind. Threshold comes out under the turret. Huge team fight around this mid lane inner turret. 1 kill onto Yasuo, again in favor of Short Circuit. Short Circuit pushing their advantage as Nautilus goes down and turret goes down. 2 kills on a turret to 0. Team Chromatic needs to find an answer for these plays, and fast. They have lost their advantage. They're now down by almost 10k gold. What a huge change up as we progress into the mid-game. Another team right here, this time around the top inner turret. It's going to be 4 versus 2 in favor of... Sorry, that was 3 versus 2? Kog'Maw has already gone down. As I said 3 versus 2, I meant 4 versus 3. Kog'Maw dying to make it 2 versus 4. Now a 4 versus 4 fight here. Fortunately, 4 versus 5. I don't know where all of the team, where all of Short Circuit's team members went. Alright, Lee Sin gets deleted. Nautilus lands a great grab onto that Caitlyn, and that's a double kill for Gragas. The barrel goes on to Alistar, knocking him back into the team. Not going to be quite enough to push the damage through on him, though. TF down to about 300 HP, still trying to farm, but Short Circuit is going to... Sorry, Team Chromatic is going to fall off of it, allowing Short Circuit to recall. I believe that was 3 for 2 in that fight. A little bit of confusion there. Kog'Maw trying to keep up this Nexus turret, sorry, inhibitor turret in the bottom lane. Doing a great job of picking up some extra farm there around it. Kog'Maw actually doing really well for his team, sitting at 5-2-5, pretty much even in farm with Caitlyn, who is 4-7-5. Caitlyn getting caught out much more than the Kog'Maw. Unfortunately, it's with the 6-1-8 Twisted Fate and the powerful Lulu in the top lane. It's going to mean problems for Team Chromatic trying to come back from this. The all-in composition halt allowed by that Lulu. TF gates into the Yasuo, has to pop his Zhonya's to stay alive here. See if the ultimate comes out of Yasuo. Kog'Maw gets the kill onto the Twisted Fate. That's a double kill for Kog'Maw as Lulu goes down as well. Misplayed by the Lulu and TF. As I say, Lulu is nearly unstoppable. She is not unstoppable by far. She does go down there. Great lantern by Thresh, getting Nautilus into range onto this Alistar. 5 versus 1 Alistar goes down. Goal difference down to 6k now. Team Chromatic doing what they can to come back from this. Looks like they might set up for a Baron, though Caitlyn is going to... Caitlyn will initiate it as the opposition. And Thresh down to about a quarter HP here. The Baron is initiated. They will go for it. They know Caitlyn is there. They might know Lee Sin is there. They now know Lee Sin is there as the ward comes out. Baron down to about half HP. We'll see if Lee Sin can jump into this and get the smite for a steal, or if it will be a wasted effort by that man to kill. Smite comes out a little bit early, but Lee Sin still gets the Baron. And a double kill onto the Lulu. Triple kill. Sorry, Lee Sin picks up the Kog'Maw kill. So it's 3 kills. There's the triple kill for Lulu as Gragas goes down. Making that a 4-for-0 fight plus a Baron. Short Circuit pulling out all the stops for that one. Team Chromatic will not be pleased right now. Ten seconds till the bulk of Team Chromatic comes back up, meaning they will lose this Nexus Array inhibitor turret. Possibly this inhibitor as well. 5 members onto an inhibitor. It will go down. Everybody from Team Chromatic is back up, aside from this Gragas who went down a little bit late in that fight. Riverside pinging out that dragon saying, we need the gold, we need the gold. They're up again by 11k now from a 6k gold lead only moments ago. Alistar face tanking this up top inner turret. It will go down as well. Great plays coming out of Short Circuit to show their dominance here. Coming back from behind. Coming back from a lost team fight for that Varus kill and a quadra kill. If you include Lee Sin's in the Lulu kills. It was 4 kills to 0 there plus the Baron. They're now going to 4-man push this top lane, 5-man push this top lane. Yasuo and Thresh appear to be on a red buff there. They will recall it. Let's see if they get there in time to defend this turret. Alistar deciding to face tank it, pops his ultimate. This will be a second inhibitor turret. It's not going to be a 5v5 fight here as all members are in this. Yasuo pops his ultimate in the middle of everybody. Yasuo is the first to go down, going a little bit too ham there. Nautilus is the second to go down. Thresh throws his lantern, almost gets Gragas out alive, but Gragas goes down as well. And that's an ace to only Alistar going down. This could be the game, folks. Short Circuit just needing to push these 2 Nexus turrets. 1 Nexus turret. 2 Nexus turrets. And that's going to be a Nexus, guys. Congratulations, Short Circuit. You have made it to the semifinals tonight. You'll be facing off against... Double check that team name. You'll be facing off against Team Happy Face. Momentarily, we'll get that game started for you guys. Once again, congratulations, Short Circuit. Tonight's semi-pro tournament round 1 victory qualifies you for that semi-finals match. You are now guaranteed a minimum of 800 RP per team member. So, congratulations. I'll get that affected onto the bracket momentarily, guys. We'll get Short Circuit forming up that lobby versus Happy Face. Once again, that was a round 1 game from tonight's semi-pro tournament. Short Circuit coming back from behind to emerge victorious. Well played by all of those team members. Well played by both teams, actually, but victory can only go to one side. There we go. I'm going to get myself down into spectator slot, and we are now waiting for Team Happy Face to join the game. We'll get things started ASAP. And Twitch chat says the Baron throws. Yeah, the Lee Sin plays around that Baron. Pulling off the Baron, actually getting it without killing it with Smite was a little bit lucky. But picking up the 4 kills around Baron after grabbing Baron without losing a single team member was definitely what put that game back in their favor. Ended it quite as quickly as it did. It was a fairly close game until the end. Short Circuit showing a little bit of dominance throughout part of the mid game. But they were behind during that early game, aside from the top lane Lulu, who dominated all game. Gragas coming to that lane a little bit late may have been too much for him to handle. Alright, so as Happy Face starts to join this lobby, it looks like they are mainly Diamond 1 and 2 summoners. So another huge yellow spike for these teams. Yellow spike, a decent rated summoners on these teams, looking at mainly Diamond 1s participating tonight. This is our semi-pro bracket tournament, where summoners must be ranked gold through Diamond to participate. That is the solo queue ranking that matters. As we see the Dream sitting at Challenger tier, that is a 5v5 team rank, not his solo queue ranking, where he is actually Diamond 1. It appears that Insert Clever Name has emerged victorious over Finding Summoner's Rift as well, so our 4 semifinalists have been determined for tonight. It's going to be Short Circuit, Happy Face, Insert Clever Name, and Team Inc. Alright, so I apologize to the teams participating tonight for any delays with match reporting. Insert Clever Name apparently won their match about 20 minutes ago, and we just affected that bracket update. I thought that Calandra and Sally was all over those, but I got this. Alright, so I'll get us back to the lobby. Just waiting on one more summoner to join us here. We'll have a semi-final game started momentarily. It's going to be Team Short Circuit versus Happy Face in our semi-finals. We also have Team Insert Clever Name facing off against Team Inc. Apparently we might have a forfeit in the semifinals here. Happy Face having reported that one of their team members may not actually be available right now, though he will be for another game later on tonight, so they will be able to play their semifinal, sorry, not their semifinal, their bronze match qualifier if they're disqualified. Sorry, not disqualified, but forfeit this round as is the semifinals. A loss does get you to the next round, technically, so you can be determined as 3rd or 4th place. If their jungler doesn't come back for that next game, they will end up 4th place, so an Easy way to get 800 RP tonight. They did play... Actually, they didn't play a round 1 game, so we'll actually have to determine whether they can forfeit their way to 800 RP or whether we would have to actually disqualify them from tonight's event. I don't see us disqualifying them. Hopefully they will be able to play at least one matchup. Assuming they get a 5th member for one of these 2 matches, then we will, of course, provide them their prizes. Alright, so we're going to have a bit of a delay here, guys. We're waiting on one more team member from Happy Face, who we have had reported that he may or may not make it in time. X Requiem telling us his stories of woe of one of his friends forfeiting an RP match, and it having to be one of the matches that Riot actually decided they were going to go in all the way, look for the match actually occurring, make sure that it was a legitimate matchup, and they're like, oh, this match didn't occur, you guys forfeited. I mean, we consider a forfeit a loss, which means the match to us did happen, but according to Riot, and according to X Requiem's opinion of Riot, they would actually not allow us to prize out that event. Well, they'd allow us to prize out the event, but not the team that had forfeited. So we'll see exactly how this plays out, and we will do our best to get rid of their prizing. We've not had reports of anybody not receiving prizing in the past. We have had events where this has happened before. Or the 3rd or 4th place team. Sorry, the 3rd place team. No, the 4th place team has forfeit, meaning the 3rd place team gets defaulted instead of actually playing that bronze match. And I do believe all of those teams did receive their RP within a reasonable time frame. Riot did message us about a few events, but I don't believe it was those ones. It was events where summoners had tried to report invalid team rosters, saying these guys played who didn't, like, we have to prize out the 5 who do participate. A little bit confused by the chat here, but apparently they do have a substitute who should be coming. Alright, so we're just waiting for Saneodusu to report to me the name of the new substitute they will be fielding. we will allow them to add a sub to their team as long as it is a gold through diamond summoner. Since we are into the semi-finals already, I would like to see the match actually occur. Make sure everybody is able to get prized out properly and actually qualifies for those prizes. Alright, so I've got a name. We're going to get Cool Gus added to Happy Face. Oh, one word, not two. Alright, Cool Gus. Get that fixed on the website. The roster is now corrected. If you guys refresh those pages, look at the website page posted to you. Also contains the bracket for tonight so you guys can see who's competed and who is still left. We are into the semifinals. Alright, so we now have 10 summoners into the lobby. Just waiting on everybody to be ready as Cool Gus is a new addition to Team Happy Face. Like he's just sorting things out, making sure that he is competent with the role they need him on. I should hope that he is competent with the role they need him on, as Short Circuit just put up an amazing fight against Team Chromatic, emerging victorious. So I believe Happy Face is going to need to bring out all that they've got in order to win this matchup. Alright, so both teams are reporting that they are ready, I do believe. That was 2 reports from one team. So just waiting on Short Circuit to report that they are actually ready to go tonight. Sorry for this match. Alright, there we are. We're into Champions Night, guys. So this is round number 2, semi-finals of tonight's event. Going to be Team Short Circuit versus Happy Face. Rengar gets banned out right away, followed by the TF ban from Happy Face. That could be a respect, and we just watched Twisted Fate do really well for Short Circuit. Bans end up being the Rengar ban Maokai. We did see a Rengar and Maokai ban from Short Circuit last game. We did not see that Vi ban though. I forget what their ban was. I believe it was actually a Tristana. So a slight change up in these bans. Kassadin being banned out by Happy Face. Lulu is the final ban for Happy Face, possibly a respect ban as well. The Lulu from Short Circuit dominating Gragas in the top lane last game. We do see a Gragas locked in from Happy Face. I could explain why he did not want to face the Lulu. Alright, so Gragas and Yasuo did get selected for a Happy Face. I mean, we commented on the Gragas and the Yasuo coming in. It's a decent synergy there. We'll see if this Yasuo combination has any more luck against Short Circuit than the last one did. We get to see J4 locked in instead of hovered over and switched out for our Nautilus. Things are looking slightly familiar here. Short Circuit going with the Tristana this game since it's not banned out, and potentially it's going to say Nidalee support, but she is showing teleport, so it's possibly Nidalee in the top lane with Lulu banned out. Serath getting hovered over as well. Could be Serath in the mid lane for X-Koki this game with the Twisted Fate ban. Lee Sin will make it back into the game for them though. Morgana getting hovered over by Pukyuan Kenobi. See if that gets locked in, meaning that there will be a Morgana support and Nidalee in the top lane as we originally suspected. Just waiting on one more champion to be selected by Happy Face. This is Short Circuit on the blue side versus Happy Face on the purple side. This is our semifinals matchup. One of our semifinals matchups. We do have also Clever Name versus Team Inc. as the other semifinal bracket. Corki getting hovered over here. Swapped out for the Kog'Maw though. For those of you not aware, I do have this nasty habit of saying the wrong name for those two, where I will call Kog'Maw Corki and Corki Kog'Maw occasionally, so having him hover over that Corki and then switch out to Kog'Maw, I think someone's trying to mess with me. Alright, so looking at these team compositions, some really strong poke and lockdown from Short Circuit, similar to what we saw last game, though different champions, mostly due to bans. And another Yasuo team composition facing up against them, this time Happy Face instead of Team Chromatic. We will see that J4 as the jungler, with Gragas possibly in the top lane. I apologize there, guys. I was trying to determine the displacement effects from that bottle, but it will appear to just be the one displacement on the Braum. I do not believe Corki has any way to CC anybody aside from his slow. So 3 champions there to synergize with the Yasuo. Of course, Yasuo synergizing with himself, making it a 4th, kind of. We are into spectator delay, guys, so we do have the finalized summoner spell showing here. 2 teleports, both top laners opting to go teleport over Ignite. No Ignites for Team Short Circuit, which could be an interesting choice. We'll see how that pairs up against the 2 Ignites that are showing on on Happy Face. Braum opting to go for Ignite over Exhaust. Yasuo opting to go for Ignite over the heal. Both teams with a fairly decent level 1 game. So against Lee Sin and Morgana, I do not think there will be an invade attempt from Happy Face, so we may see one coming out from Short Circuit this game. I am personally a huge fan of the level 1 shenanigans. Also, for those of you joining us in the Twitch chat, we are doing giveaways at 50 and 100 viewers. So tell your friends to come join us tonight. This is a fairly high yellow tournament. Might possibly learn something about the game. All of these summoners are sitting in the diamond tier. That is solo queue diamond. We do have some Challenger 5v5 participants. I do believe it's a Dream, one of those summoners who's on a Challenger 5v5 team, currently on Team Short Circuit as their top laner. And we also have Team Inc. in the other bracket we're not currently watching, and they are composed of the majority of a 5v5 Drags team, and that is Diamond Tim, more or less participating under an alias. They may not be feeling their whole roster tonight. I do not remember the exact summoners that were participating. Occasionally their entire roster, occasionally it's 2 or 3 of them with some friends. They have been a force to be reckoned with in previous events. We'll see if Team Inc. can emerge victorious for the second time in a row in a semi-pro tournament. They did win last week's event, so we'll see if anybody can stop them. Alright, and we are into the load screen. Alright, so now that we're in the load screen, looking at the borders here, it looks like Yasuo and Braum both moved up from Platinum into that Diamond tier. Congratulations to those guys on their improvements this season. Waiting for Danny Jun Park to get into the game. We'll see what his trim is showing. I do believe he was a Diamond as well. Alright, that's a Diamond trim from last season, so no improvements, but great maintenance. Question in the Twitch chat of who's excited to watch Team Inc. We would have caught them in the round 1 game, but their opponents actually forfeit, so they are currently playing against insert clever name, I believe. I will double check that bracket. Yes, insert clever name versus Team Inc. is the other semi-final game currently occurring. I do believe that has started up. Alright, I hear the game. Let us see the game. Always disconcerting to hear the rift before you actually enter it. And there we are, into the game, folks. Once again, this is going to be Short Circuit on the blue side versus Happy Face on the purple side.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Short Circuit choosing to show in the mid lane as opposed to setting up for some serious level 1 shenanigans. Lee Sin throws his Q and just misses Jarvan.
30 seconds until minions.
Dark Binding goes in as well, but just misses us again.
Minions have spawned.
J4 having a little bit of a seizure. Not sure if that's his laugh or his taunt being spammed there without actually completing. Probably his taunt. There's no sound coming out of it really. Both teams contend here to actually set up inside of their jungles. There's going to be no major level 1 shenanigans. I mean, there were some attempts from the Lee Sin and Morgana to lock down somebody, but they were unsuccessful. Lee Sin smites down his red buff and J4 apparently takes his blue buff. See him jiggling around there. Yes, by jiggling around I mean moving from the large golem to the smaller ones. Nidalee harassing the Gragas. Braum lands a great Q on the Tristana. Gragas actually behind the Nidalee. He might be in trouble here. And at 300 HP he does pop a health pot. Dark Binding onto Braum, as Braum lands his Q, I believe, onto Morgana as well. Sewell lands a great Q onto Sarath. My camera's doing all weird things, like I just switched over to J4, smited down a buff, and then Yasuo landing a Q and it's back to the bottom lane. Oh, camera. Dark Binding comes in onto Kog'Maw, but nobody's able to initiate on that. Braum switches it up with a great Q onto Tristana, make sure she does not actually come into there. Nidalee in the top lane dominating her opponent. Get the scoreboard reorganized once again here. I believe that is now correct. Looks like Nidalee up 10 farm over the Gragas. Everyone else fairly close with only 4 to 5 maximum difference in farm aside from that top lane. Nearly 4 minutes into the game, these are some fairly low farm numbers, lower than I would expect from Diamond 1 players. The maximum potential farm at the 5-minute mark, of course, being, I believe, 50 or 75. So they're just over half the potential farm. And Jarvan into the top lane all over the Nidalee. Nidalee might be in trouble now. Gragas coming in as well. Nidalee does escape. A great escape by that Nidalee. My camera, of course, not allowing me to actually finish the commentation there as it switches back to the bottom lane. Nidalee still getting pounded away on by the Jarvan. A great Dark Binding comes in but does not actually connect to the Kog'Maw. Lee Sin appears to have just fallen off of a gank in the mid lane. Going to go for his Wraiths instead now. The top lane action fairly even here. Well, Gragas actually getting an increase in farm deficit. Sorry, decreasing his farm deficit here down by only about, well, now down to by 9 again, so I'll just stop speaking about the farm in the top lane. We'll see how Nidalee works out in about 5 minutes. Alright, so Kog'Maw in trouble here as Dark Binding connects. He does have about 100 HP. He pops his heal, but Lee Sin grabs first blood with a great Q. Gragas is now pushing Italy's lane here, allowing her to farm even easier. Gragas spotted something without actually taking a turret. I thought he was a little bit closer than he was there. I thought he was going to get punished for it. In the bottom lane, both Kog'Maw and Braum there were forced to recall. Actually, I guess Kog'Maw got killed, Braum was forced to recall. Kog'Maw now back out to the bottom lane, going to be solo versus Morgana and Tristana here for a moment, as Braum is near that dragon pit, dropping some wards. J4 in his jungle, takes down the Raisin appears to be heading to bottom lane now. We'll see how that works out for them. Tristana and Morgana do have vision in that bush, but he will walk around it, go the long way into the lane. Kog'Maw initiates onto the Morgana, but a Dark Binding lands on him. Morgana down to about half HP. Braum burns his flash to get into range again. Kog'Maw burns his flash as well. There's a stun onto Morgana. J4 comes in with the lance, gets locked down by Dark Binding. And that's going to be a disengage. That was both flashes from the bottom laners to try and pick up that kill there, but no dice. Tristana takes some pressure from the Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw unfortunately down to half health. Tristana rocket jumps in. Braum lands a great wall there. Dark Binding comes through either from the side or as it comes down. That was perfect timing potentially. Serath gets a bit of poke onto Yasuo. Yasuo and Serath here are sitting fairly even fire. Actually 56 to 56, 0 kills to 0. And J4 ends up taking the blue buff. I guess Yasuo does not actually need it, as he is not a heavy mana champion. He's not using mana at all technically. And his cooldown's not too long. So J4 can put that blue buff to better use than the Yasuo potentially would be. Bit of a scuffle in the top lane. Gragas takes a huge amount of damage under his turret as he tries to push Nidalee off of it. Yasuo onto Serath. Could be a kill here coming in. Yasuo's wind wall comes out. He jumps onto him again. Yasuo down to about 50 HP. Sorry, that was Serath down to about 100 HP. Serath popping his ultimate, nearly getting Yasuo, but he steps out of range. Both junglers coming to the mid lane for that fight. Lee Sin, of course, getting there in time to do some damage to Yasuo. J4 not getting there in time to counter the jungler. Sorry, to counter gank. The Lee Sin is near the J4's red buff. J4 in a bit of trouble here. Lee Sin lands an ice ultimate onto him, and J4 goes down to the Nidalee. Nidalee coming around from that Gragas turret deep into the enemy jungle. Almost kills the Gragas as well. Lee Sin now going to throw a Q at him. It does land, and that will be a kill. I apologize that I'm stumbling a little bit over my words, as the junglers do some crazy things in those jungles. The counter jungle from this Lee Sin is real tonight. Score is now 3-0 in favor of Short Circuit. Happy Face down by about 2.5k gold. No turrets have gone down yet in this game. Kog'Maw and Tristana actually even in farm. Letting a Tristana farm even with another ADC is never a good situation for any team. They're going to need an answer to shut down the Tristana once mid and late game roll around, especially if you can maintain these farm numbers. Nidalee onto the Gragas now. This could be I was going to say a second Gragas kill, but Gragas pops his ultimate, throwing her out of range. He's down to about 200 HP. She flashes in and does take the kill under his turret. That is a second kill onto the Gragas for Nidalee. Sorry, a second kill onto the Gragas. I guess Lee Sin technically got the last hit on the last one. Lee is sitting 201. Got some shadows from the Twitch chat. Hello to Rusty Willie. score now 4-0. About a 3k goal lead for Short Circuit. Short Circuit being on the blue side versus Happy Face on the purple side. This is once again our semi-finals matchup between Short Circuit and Happy Face, a Not So Stuck Gaming semi-pro bracket tournament. Got a question to chat of where has Abers gone? Abers is busy teaching university students how to properly debate. I could say that Abers is a master debater. It's going to be a dragon potentially going down to, yes, to the blue side. Short Circuit landing the smite as with Lee Sin. There's going to be a fight around the dragon pit now, potentially going to cost them a member, but everybody is able to get out. Morgana going the long way. Tristana forced to flash over that wall. Now 3 members of... Oh, a killing spree in the top lane as Nilly takes down the Gragas again. Serath gets caught out and goes down to the Yasuo in that bottom lane tri-bush. We do see 4 members of Happy Face in this bottom lane. Potentially looking to take down this turret. Morgana is fairly low. Tristana at full health. Everybody else from the Happy Face team is also fairly low. Nilly picks up a turret in the top lane after getting the kill onto Gragas. The Braum Q just misses the Tristana, but a great dark binding comes out of Morgana, almost enough to take down Tristana. Sorry, enough to take down the Kog'Maw. And a teleport coming out into this bottom lane from the Nidalee. Nidalee might pick up another kill here. Yasuo does go down. I don't actually know what Freak sounds like, to be honest, Rusty Willie. There's a comment in Twitch chat that Abers sounds a little bit like Freak. Just the voice comparison, not the humor comparison. I mean, Impossible would be the one I believe most people compare with the humor to, with the Yasuo jokes. Speaking of Yasuo jokes, has anybody heard Impossible's favorite Yasuo joke? How come Yasuo is never locked out of his house? Because he always has a key! Alright. Terribly implemented joke. Away. Lee Sin picks up a red buff for himself there. You see them potentially setting up for a fight in the mid lane. Mirana comes in, Dark Binding does not actually connect there. Don't believe she even threw it. A little bit of a lull in the action here, guys. We've got blue side essentially setting up to catch this Braum out, who has overextended with his Kog'Maw well behind him. Tristana rocket jumps into it, eats the Q from Braum. The poke from the Kog'Maw ult coming down onto her though. Nilly and Gragas still in this top lane, potentially duking it out. Nobody actually able to respond to this Nilly. Actually, J4 is going to come up. Nilly takes a turret. We'll see if they can have the answer here. Lee Sin in the opponent's jungle, but Yasuo is there as well, so it could be a 3v2, except for Serath is all over this, turning this into a 3v3 fight if anybody actually decides to engage it. Action in the bottom lane as well. Tristana farming away. Dark Binding comes out of the Morgana, but doesn't actually connect with anybody that I can see. Q from Braum lands onto the minions. Morgana might be in trouble as that J4 ult comes out. She does flash out of it though. Pops her black shield to keep herself alive for a little while longer. Her ultimate locks down both Braum and J4, but Yasuo is going to come in here for the kill. Score now 6-2 in favor of Short Circuit. 2 turrets to 0. J4 getting locked down by this Lee Sin here. He might be able to get away. Sarath throws his ultimate, not actually able to connect with him. Sarath now being caught out by the remainder of Happy Face. Yasuo, Kog'Maw, and Braum all there to take him down. Gragas versus this Nidalee in the mid lane. We'll see if anybody can get there to save the Gragas. Nidalee flashes in, does pick up the kill under that inhibitor turret. She is all by herself though now. Might be in trouble. Goes for the Braum though. She will take the double kill. Yasuo is going to attempt to respond to this, but does not get there in time. Kog'Maw throwing his ultimate blindly. Now trying to force down this Tristana. Tristana decides to rocket jump onto him. Nidalee comes over the wall there and takes him down. Nidalee sitting at 7-0 right now, doing an amazing job. To anybody just joining us, this is a Not So Stock Gaming semi-pro bracket tournament. We are in the semi-finals currently. This is Team Short Circuit on the blue side versus Happy Face on the purple side. We also have Insert Clever Name versus Team Inc. as our other semi-finalists. I do believe that match is still underway. Actually, Team Inc. has emerged victorious over Insert Clever Name. If you guys check the bracket, that should be showing at this point. Get that bracket posted to Twitch chat for everybody. It's going to be a bit of a support duel there as Morgana lands her Dark Binding. Braum tries to land his Q onto her as well. Sarath now doing a bit of punishment against this Braum. Kog'Maw coming in a tiny bit late to this fight. Yasuo and J4 are there as well, making this a 4v3. Nidalee under the turret onto the Gragas once again. Gragas throws his exploding cast though, blasting her well at the turret instead of back into it. It's going to be a dragon going over to Short Circuit as well. That is the second dragon they've taken. J4 goes down to that Lee Sin as it is a 3v1 in that jungle. Tristana rocket jumping well over the wall, takes down the Kog'Maw, rocket jumps again to take the... Yes, she does take down the Braum. Yasuo now in trouble as Lee Sin and Nidalee are going for him. Gragas gets caught out as well as the Lee Sin goes down. This could be an ace. Lee Sin tanking that turret. One more turret hit would have been enough to finish him off. Dark Binding and the Lee Sin Q will miss the Gragas. Gragas doing an amazing job of staying alive here. Sarath throws a skill and misses and then lands at a second poke. Gragas not able to pull off a 5th juke in a row. Stays alive long enough to prevent the ace from occurring though. That is a shutdown onto the Nidalee. First death of the game. Congratulations, Kog'Maw. Take that Nidalee down. We'll see if anybody from Happy Face has the answer for this Nidalee. She is now 7-1, with Lee Sin sitting at 303, Tristana sitting at 205. An impressive showing from Short Circuit tonight. Four turrets to 0 currently with a 12k gold lead. Happy Face going to need to pull out all the stops to come back from this one. Morgana comes out but does not actually lock anybody down. Morgana now all by herself versus 4 members of Happy Face. She will get deleted. Lee Sin jumps into the middle of the 3 that are remaining and something goes very, very wrong. Something just went very, very wrong. My stream is still playing, so my internet is fine. Alright guys, if you're watching this right now and you're actually hearing me still, we may have a small issue with the game servers. Not 100% sure. I'm going to try and adjust my graphics here. And just to make it reset a little bit. Max it up to 80 FPS, see if it does anything crazy. No. No, I've got to reset environment quality, set it to high, and that'll cause a weird... No. No, this is not good. Twitch chat. We are... Oh, there we go. Okay, unable to download spectator data. I might be able to get back into this. We might have reports that this game just went down, or it could just be spectators, hopefully. I'm going to try and reconnect here. Hopefully I'm the only one actually affected, and the teams are still duking it out in there. I apologize for that little hiccup. Hopefully it was an issue between my computer and the spectator server and not a server-wide error or a game-specific error. We have had some issues such as these in the past, which could potentially be attributed to DDoS or drop hacking, though we've had no way to actually prove that those events have occurred. Here we go. Game is still occurring, so it was just a spectator glitch. Just a spectator glitch, guys. Everything is good. Game now 16-6, with Short Circuit having a 13k gold lead. 5 turrets to 0. And Spectator is going to glitch out again here. Potentially. Yeah. Alright, so there's no reports from any of these summoners that there's any errors in the game itself. Tristana running around there, but does stop. That seems to have been an auto walk click that was just registering on my screen. So we're gonna exit this game, I guess. Try and reconnect one more time, make sure everybody is still playing it out. Weird spectator server issues. Weird. Alright, so we're getting reports in the Twitch chat that Short Circuit has emerged victorious in this game, as Happy Face did surrender before the servers decided to completely quit on them, apparently. I'm going to get myself out of this game as soon as possible. We will get ourselves into a finals game, assuming the servers are still all good on the NA side. Oh, look at those pings that come back into the game. We could always catch the end of this, make sure we see what actually happened. You guys in Twitch chat want to catch the end of the game, or do you want to move directly on to Short Circuit versus Inc? Alright, so we have Twitch chat saying they want to watch them into this game, so we're gonna see what happens here. See if they get to the Nexus, or if they get a surrender, or if the game just crashes again on us. Gragas going in onto the Tristana and Serath. Braum comes in to stand behind him. It's supposed to be Braum having his friend standing behind Braum, but Braum decided to stand behind that Gragas. Gragas does go down and Braum stays alive. Alright, and there's another crash for me. So we will potentially be not able to catch the end of this game. I apologize, guys. The game will now exit. Okay. Okay, game. I know you want to exit. time to find Requiem and Kimura. Those are the two team captains, as far as I'm aware, for Short Circuit, as well as Team Inc. Just going to determine exactly what's going to happen here. Just going to try and make sure that all the servers are good. Let's see what LOL Nexus has to say. Alright, so Inc. is just waiting on Short Circuit to make that lobby. I'll get an invitation from X Requiem momentarily, I would assume. Once again, guys, we are now into our finals matchup, assuming the servers are still all good. Hopefully that was not a server-wide issue, and also not a DDoS attempt. Well, drop hack attempt, as it was affecting spectator data, not just one or two of those summoners. It would be quite unfortunate to see having happen. Alright, and there's my invite from X Requiem. Get myself down into the spectator slot. Looks like both teams are starting to join up this lobby already. Those of you who have been waiting, this is going to be Short Circuit versus Team Inc. Team Inc. being the alias that Diamond Tim has been entering under for our tournaments. As we do not require teams to be a team in the client, simply maintain a solo queue rating between Gold and Diamond for these events, whereas all 5 of these summoners on Team Inc. are Diamond 1, though they are showing Challenger tier due to their 5v5 status, with being the current number 11 team. Because in batter in this lobby, X Requiem has apparently been waiting to face off against this team. Looking forward to playing against Kimura, playing against Team Inc. Diamond Tim, number 11 NA team. See if Short Circuit has what it takes to take them down. Short Circuit putting on an amazing showing in their last 2 games. Alright, we are into Champion Select here. Okay, so Kog'Maw and Cinder getting banned out right away by X Requiem for Short Circuit. Braum and Rise being banned out by Kimura for Team Inc. Looks like Maokai and Nidalee are going to get taken out of the game as well. Nidalee possibly a respect ban. Well, that does leave him top lane Lulu to try and play again. We've seen him successful on both Lulu and Nidalee. That is Summoner The Dream playing top lane for Team Short Circuit. Hey, welcome back, Anselm. Welcome back to the Twitch chat, my man. Always glad when people decide to come back and join us for games. like Tristana and Nami will be the bottom lane pairing for Team Inc. tonight. Yasuo getting locked in for Short Circuit. They played against 2 Yasuo team comps so far. Looks like they want to pull it out for this game. Waiting on the Dream and Xkoki to select those champions. Xkoki hovering over a Corki here. Corki gets swapped up for Caitlyn, and a Morgana gets locked in as well. Alright, so those of you paying attention, I just added another substitute for Team Happy Face to their roster. Traditionally, we do not allow teams to add substitutes after their first round game is played. However, since it is a small event tonight, and they were in the semifinals and now in the bronze match, I would rather have them play that match and allow Riot to see that the match has occurred than have to have them forfeit and potentially have neither team receiving RP. Like to get those matches occurring, RP going out to everybody goes home happy. Alright, Pantheon and Anivia being hovered over, and Anivia getting locked in there. See if that Pantheon makes it into the game. Team Inc. pulling out a fairly weird team composition. Anivia is not something we traditionally get to see played fairly often. Very often? Should have said it that way. Not something we get to see played very often. Alright. Nunu being hovered over for Jody Walrus. Always love a Nunu in the jungle, but the Shaco is kind of throwing me off here. Or looks like it might be an Aurelia. That will be their top lane for Pokemon Kenobi. Swap the Aurelia out for Lulu, see if that Lulu does get locked in. We've seen them successful on a Lulu once before. Pokemon Kenobi not actually their top laner. That will be getting traded to the Dream, I believe. Aurelia ends up getting selected by Ginormous Noob and then traded up to Cremora. So these team compositions are now finalized. Both teams have 45 seconds to select those summoner spells as well as runes and masteries. Not a whole lot of synergy for this Yasuo on their team composition. Kind of surprised to see it coming out the way it is. They do have a pretty strong team despite the lack of synergy for Yasuo. A different mid laner may have been advantageous for them, however they do need the AD, as only Caitlyn there has that 80 damage. Though Nunu could make up a tiny bit of it, we would likely see him building more tank utility, possibly a bit of AP. Not a whole lot of tank on the side of Short Circuit either, as compared to that Pantheon and Aurelia, both offering a fair amount of beef for Team Inc. Going to see the Tristana Nami bottom lane as well, as an Anivia in the mid lane. And once again, that Anivia, not something we get to see played often. I do believe we've seen 1 or 2 come out over the last couple months. So, fairly... I have a surprisingly little analysis on these team compositions right now. So we're going to let these guys speak for themselves as they get into the game. I expect that Aurelia versus the Lulu matchup might actually end up in favor of Lulu. We did watch Lulu dominate Agragas, then play an Italy and dominate once again. So we know the Dream is fairly competent in that top lane, though Kimura, of course, being on a top 11 challenger team as well, as opposed to a challenger team at 0 LP, where the Dream is currently sitting at, is experienced as well. Both of these guys know what they're doing up there. I just have a feeling that Lulu might be a slight counter to the Aurelia, being able to stop that all in. Of course, Jungler's Pantheon, a little bit more mobile than the Nunu, though Nunu is fairly mobile with Blood Boil. Interesting to see him taking Flash Smite. I'd like to play Smite Ghost on that Nunu, though I am playing Nunu against boss most of the time, not against challenger ranked summoners. Just 1 minute left of spectator delay here, guys, and we'll get into the load screen. I apologize for the tiny bit of silence here. Running out of things to talk to you guys about, aside from how awesome Nunu looks. I mean, it is a Nunu. The Yeti rider? Who does not want to ride a Yeti? I mean, come on. If you had a choice, would you ride a Yeti, or would you not ride a Yeti? I'd ride the Yeti. Alright, now just 30 seconds till we get to the load screen. Once again, guys, this is the finals matchup for Not So Stock Gaming Semi-Pro Tournament on August 2nd. It was a fairly small event tonight with only 8 teams participating. Once again, teams must be composed of summoners ranked gold through diamond in the solo queue. So get your friends, come out and participate next week. See if you have what it takes to get to the semis, get through to the finals even maybe. Remembering that once you get to those semis, all teams in the semifinals are guaranteed a minimum of 800 RP per team member. And with tonight being an 8-team tournament, it was only required 1 win to get there. So a lot of teams getting, fairly easy. I'm not sure how to say this properly. A lot of teams having a really good odds of getting to those paid positions tonight. Alright, we are into the load screen. Only the Anivia showing no trim. Not sure if somehow the Spectrum summoner playing Anivia is a newer summoner who has managed to get all the way to Diamond 1, or if it's simply a newer account for him. We request that summoners play on their highest rated accounts, not their main accounts. It means that we are able to best judge their ELO potential, as, you can play 1,000 games on your main account playing pure ranked, have a 50% win ratio maybe, get to silver or gold. Then you jump onto another account and, it's technically your Smurf, but say you only play it when you've already played 4 or 5 games on your main account, and you're going to go ahead and have like a 70, 80, 90% win rate, pick up possibly a diamond. So if you're playing on a diamond account but it's not your main account, it's just it's one of your Smurfs, it just happens to be your highest rated account. We don't want you playing on a silver account instead. We'd rather have you play on that highest rated account so we can best seed people for a more balanced experience. Of course, tonight everybody playing pretty much Diamond 1 accounts does not make it too hard for us to show as much balance as possible, though there has been a bit of a divergence in the skill levels despite the high ELO that we see from all these summoners. Short Circuit doing a great job of defeating 2 opponents so far. I hear the music from the Rift, but I do not see the Rift. We are on our way though, guys. We will be into this game momentarily. I did not see Anivia hit 100%, but she is not standing in the center of the pit. We'll see if she ends up buying those items or if they're going to have a pause come out right here. Anivia not yet moving. The remainder of her team running out of the base. There we go. Anivia has connected, starts buying those items. Ends up with a crystalline flask in the mid lane. Could be An interesting choice against the Yasuo's Doran's Blade.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Of course, seeing Anivia versus Yasuo might mean problems for the Anivia early on. Yasuo fairly strong, not a traditional mid lane AP champion where you would see with the range.
Seconds until minions spawn.
Anivia starts to recall from the Pixel Bush. Let's see if that recall ends up going through or she cancels it. She does recall and begins to run out to the mid lane. Goes back to the bit. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the Anivia right now.
Minions have spawned.
We'll see both sides setting up for their buffs respectively. Nunu is going to start with the red buff while Pantheon starts blue. Tristana now potentially getting to this lane before their opposition here. Morgana and Caitlyn might hit level 2 a little bit late, meaning that the Tristana Nami pairing will have a slight advantage, though Tristana does not have the strongest early game. It means that might not be as much of an advantage as normally would be expected. Looks like Pantheon heading around, possibly going either for a really early gank on this Yasuo. Yes, he will be going for a really early gank on this Yasuo. Throws the spear. Yasuo now dodging out, trying to get away. Runs all the way to his opposition's tower pretty much before eating exhaust. Now his first blood going over to Anivia. X-Koki might be out of his comfort zone here, playing the Yasuo versus Anivia. Not sure if he was trying to juke into their jungle or if he was just trying to get as far away from that Pantheon as humanly possible. He did juke his way out and then back in for the ultimate last hit from Anivia. Tristana and Nami actually pushing this bottom lane. I'm going to reorder this scoreboard so we can see exactly where everybody's farm numbers are at and how they kind of line up against their opponents. Tristana out farming Caitlyn right now. That is an impressive feat for an early game Tristana. A nice dark binding lands onto that Nami, but no one's going to be able to see it as she was just out of that ward's range, I do believe. Pantheon once again behind this Yasuo. There might be another gank in this mid lane. We'll see if Yasuo fares any better this time. Yasuo blocked out by the Anivia while he only takes a tiny bit of damage though. He will get it with about half HP. Much more successful escaping this time than the last time. The Pantheon trying to do a little bit too much work in that mid lane. Seems like he's going to head to the top lane as the Lulu has overextended and is pushing this Aurelia into her turret. A nice dark binding onto that Nami stops any kind of initiation that could have occurred there. Tristana rocket jumps in onto the Caitlyn. This could be a kill. The heal comes out from Caitlyn. The heal comes out from Tristana. Morgana pushes onto that Tristana and does get the last hit, evening out the kill score at 1-1. Well played by the Short Circuit's bottom blade pair here. Caitlyn popping the heal just in time to keep herself alive, and Morgana pushing her advantage there to take down the Tristana. Tristana and Caitlyn now even in farm. Caitlyn up by an assist where Tristana has a death. Looking at the top lane, Lulu is actually behind in farm to the Irelia. The first time we've seen the Dream behind in farm to anybody during tonight's tournament. Yasuo and Anivia fairly evenly matched up. Anivia actually up by almost 10 farms, so not as evenly matched up as it could be, especially considering Anivia does have that kill due to the early gank from the Pantheon. Nunu choosing to try and get those farm numbers as opposed to going for heavy early ganking. Pantheon, knowing that his team could benefit from a couple kills fed to them in the first few minutes, decided to go for those 2 or 3 ganks before actually focusing on his farm. Looks like he's actually going to go around for a gank on the mid lane again. Nunu may have spotted him out. The wall comes out from Anivia. Yasuo down to a quarter HP, flashes out, takes the, not flashes out, dashes out, takes the exhaust, and will actually get out with his life. Morgana in the bottom lane all by herself as Caitlyn tries to get back there in time. She does get back there. Yasuo now at about a quarter HP. Blood Boil comes out onto him. They're going to try and chase down this Anivia potentially, but Nunu's going to fall out of the lane instead. There's going to be no ability for that team to initiate right now, at least in the mid game against that Anivia. Bubbles comes out, but a great 9 caliber net takes the Caitlyn right out of range of it. Pings in that top lane. I'm not sure exactly what's being pinged out there. That was pings from the blue side, possibly pinging out that vision ward that was just dropped. Caitlyn now actually up by about 3 farm over the Tristana. Not the position she wants to be in, allowing Tristana to maintain even farm during the early game, but still doing a great job. Tristana tries to rocket jump in there, not going to be enough to get much damage onto Caitlyn. Morgana coming back in here, we're going to potentially lock somebody down. More action in the top lane as Lulu and Irelia are duking it out. Irelia looking to jump in onto that Lulu, takes a turret for it though. Dark Binding comes out and connects onto the Nami. They're not going to see that actually connect though. There will be no initiate here for it. Level 6 onto that Tristana as well as Caitlyn. We see Morgana reach level 6 as well. Morgana throws that Dark Bind, but it did not connect with anybody. Irelia onto the Lulu in the top lane. Lulu taking a bit of a punishment here, down to about half HP. Irelia decides to fall off of that as Lulu nearly gets to the turret range. Possibly a good choice there. Possibly missing out on a kill on the Lulu. Though eating a Transmogrify under the turret could be quite devastating at this low level. Nunu coming up to the top lane here. Nunu and Lulu in the top lane. Morgana pops the ultimate. Tristana tries to rocket jump out, but does not get quite far enough. It does manage to lock her down, but she gets blasted away just in time to not be able to throw a Dark Binding on her as well. Ace in the hole comes through, but it's not quite enough for the kill. Nunu and Lulu still in this top lane now, all over the Irelia. Irelia taking a huge amount of punishment. Pantheon ultimates in, but Nunu takes the kill onto Irelia before turning around to try and focus on that Pantheon, who's forced to flash over the wall. Nunu follows with Splash of his own. One more attack, and that is a double kill for Nunu. And Nunu pulling out quite the play there. Now up 10 farm and 2 kills on their opponent's jungler. Yasuo taking a fair amount of punishment here. Might go down to the Anivia in the mid lane. The wall comes out. Yasuo turns around for the ultimate. Gets the egg, and egg Anivia is out. We'll see if Yasuo has enough damage to try and finish off the Anivia as he comes out of the egg. Yasuo decides to run and not actually take that kill though. A good choice as he was down to about 200 HP before he was down lower than that before he jumped back in. But he had regen to about 200 HP. Anivia now just below full HP due to him not having enough damage to take the egg out. We have Nunu in this mid lane. Not going to be enough for a solid engage on the Anivia. Anivia just out of range there. Short Circuit up by 1k gold right now at the 11-minute mark. It's now 3 kills to 1 in favor of Short Circuit. Team Inc. actually underperforming right now. We have seen Team Inc. come back from a deficit before though. We'll see how this translates into mid and late game as things progress. Short Circuit, of course, coming back from a deficit during their first game tonight and then dominating their second game. They are starting out fairly strong during this finals matchup against Team Inc. Deferring to farm numbers alone, we have the top lane where Lulu is just behind the Aurelia. Jungle's Nunu is doing an amazing job of out-farming the Pantheon. Yasuo just behind the Anivia in farm as well. Caitlyn ahead of the Tristana, as would be traditionally expected. She's up by about 6 farms, so not the advantage she would like to see against the Tristana during the early game. Yasuo gets blocked out by that wall, eats a stun from the Anivia, but is not going to be killed as Anivia decides to fall off of that. Having wasted, well, not wasted all of his skills, but utilized all of his skills there. Not able to actually finish him off. The Bubbles just misses Morgana. Now Morgana's going to try and duke it out with the Nami. The top lane Pantheon all coming down against his Caitlyn. Caitlyn's going to have to move a little bit to avoid that stun. The Nami all comes through as well, missing. Black Shield onto Caitlyn. The ultimate from Morgana locks down the Pantheon. Exhaust comes out as well. Morgana getting awfully low. There's Pantheon getting fairly low. It's out on 200 HP. Heal comes out from somebody. I believe that may have actually been a Nami heal, not the Summoner Spell heal from Tristana, who does still have that. Ace in the hole I thought was going to come through, but does not. Great plays by both sides there. Neither team losing a single summoner. Caitlyn and Morgana now trying to push down this bottom turret. Pantheon has gone to his jungle.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
There's a purple team turret down. That is the bottom lane turret for that Caitlyn. Success in the bottom lane. Short Circuit doing a great job here. They take that turret, I don't know, I'd say a little bit early. Caitlyn potentially being able to farm a tiny bit longer had she not pushed that turret down. Again, she is up by almost 20 farm with the Tristana. There's going to be action in this mid lane. Pantheon goes down to the Yasuo. Yasuo now pushing his luck, going for the Nami as well. Nami flashes out, but the Q from Yasuo lands and gets an ult. That's a double kill for Yasuo. Yasuo now going to try and take down the Tristana as well. We'll see if the Tristana is forced to rocket jump out. She will not rocket jump out, but she will actually turn around as Yasuo goes for the farm instead of her. Aurelia comes in onto the Lulu. We'll see how this turns out. Lulu taking a lot of damage. The Aurelia gets transmogulated though. And they're both down to about 300 HP. This could be a 3 versus 1 in the bottom lane. Anivia overextends a tiny but does not get capitalized on. Okay, Tristana is there as well as Pantheon coming in. Yasuo now onto the Anivia. She will not quite get turned into an egg, escaping there with about 25 HP. One more other attack would have egged her. 5-1 for Short Circuit. Short Circuit putting on an amazing showing right now. Nami may have just been caught out by this Yasuo. We'll see if she can escape. Bubbles came up, but it seems like Yasuo just flashed right over those to finish her off. Yes, it is a Summoner Spell flash down for Yasuo, but it's also a kill on Nami for it. Anivia tries to throw the stun onto Morgana, but it just misses. Pantheon not coming in as well. Morgana and Nunu are going to stay in the middle of this Pantheon, but Nunu pops his ultimate, doing a fair amount of damage to both Anivia and the Pantheon. Nunu goes down though. Ace in the Hole comes in on to Tristan though, and Tristan goes down as well, making this a 7-2 kill score in favor of Short Circuit. Short Circuit doing an amazing job tonight. Xkoki and X-Requiem are leading this team. Xkoki being their mid laner, X-Requiem being the ADC for Short Circuit. It is the Yasuo and Caitlyn. Caitlyn actually best farming the game, out farming the Lulu this time. First time we've seen anybody really out farm that top lane Lulu. The Dream not having the greatest game right now, still doing really well though, maintaining decent numbers against the opposing Aurelia. Aurelia having a death compared to Lulu's 0 deaths and 2 assists. Only up by about 5 farm on the Lulu right now. Lulu's actually doing a really good job. Of course, Aurelia would have some minor issues going in onto Lulu, as Lulu is designed to kind of counter the hard engages that Aurelia requires. Clearing down that vision ward in the pixel bush. They're not going to try and initiate that dragon though. Three members of both teams in this mid lane. A little bit of a siege attempt there. Lulu trying to bait out the Aurelia from that bush. She does stop the back. Aurelia will jump onto Lulu, does about half of her HP in under a second. Lulu might be in trouble. As I say that, she completely turns that around and Aurelia tries to run away, but Aurelia might not have what it takes to get out of this. She's down to about 100 HP. Lulu firing those off. She does take down Komora. That is the Dream taking down Komora. Lulu taking down Aurelia, depending on how you want to say that. Well played by the Lulu in the top lane. Pantheon coming out to take out the Lulu, though. That is going to be the first death for Lulu, as Pantheon makes a great play. Short Circuit does set up for Dragon, though, and manages to successfully take it uncontested, allowing him to head towards the mid lane where Morgana gets locked down fairly heavily, but Nunu comes in with his ultimate after Morgana gets killed. It's going to be a kill onto nobody for Short Circuit. I thought they had someone there, but I was mistaken. Caitlyn goes down as well. 3 kills to 0 for Team Inc. right now. Yasuo goes down as well. It's a shutdown. Only Nunu left alive, evening things out a tiny bit here. Only a 2k gold difference. Now 8 kills to 6, 1 turret to 0. This is going to be 1 turret to 1 momentarily. This is the comeback I would have expected from Inc. And we are now going to see if they can get this inner mid turret as well. Nunu is there to respond. Lulu and Caitlyn are both up as well. Morgana a little bit behind here. Aurelia well onto the Lulu behind the turret. Lulu might be in trouble. Does get out with her life though. That is a mid inner turret for Team Inc. Well played pushing that one after taking the advantage after that fight after Dragon. Too many afters. But that was just a crazy chain of events that led to them taking 2 turrets. Well played by Team Inc. These are the comebacks I expect from teams like this. Just the coordination required to pull a move like that off, taking out half your enemy team, and then grabbing 2 turrets before they respawn. Quite impressive in my books. The goal score has actually more or less evened out completely at the 20-minute mark. This is about where Tristana starts to come into her own. We'll see if Caitlyn has done a good enough job of keeping her shut down. Lulu and Aurelia also going to be coming into the fight a little bit differently here. Lulu goes down to the Aurelia. Aurelia has to flash to get away from that turret, but there's going to be a Yasuo in the top lane to finish her off. Yasuo are looking to potentially push down that top turret. We'll see if anybody from Team Inc. can respond to this in time. Yasuo looking to make this 2 turrets to 2, though it is an outer turret as opposed to that inner mid turret they did lose. Yasuo successfully takes down that turret and decides to back off of it, knowing that the opposition will soon be responding if he tries to push any further. Once again, to anybody just joining us, this is the finals matchup for tonight's tournament, watching the semi-pro bracket of Not So Stock Gaming's tournament series. This is Dark Corp shoutcasting for you tonight. We are currently watching Team Short Circuit on the blue side, Team Ink on the purple side. That is a huge kill for that Caitlyn as Anivia just gets deleted. Pantheon getting a lockdown here as well. He might go down. He does go down to the Lulu. Yasuo now under that turret decides to jump onto the Shaman, who gets blasted. Sorry, he gets blasted back, but Caitlyn manages the last hit. Turret goes down to the mid lane as they're looking for this mid-inner turret to even out this mid lane for both sides. Will give them a 2-turret advantage if they can take it again. Well played by Short Circuit, picking up 2 turrets there as well as 2 kills, 3 kills during that fight. Looks like they might set up for a Baron here. They are running in that direction. It will be contested if they do. Nami and Aurelia both seeming to know what's going on. Baron is initiated by Short Circuit. Dark Binding comes out of the Morgana, just missing the Aurelia. Aurelia running around the edge here, going to try and jump into the middle of 5 members of Short Circuit, going to pay. Down to quarter HP, down to no life left. Aurelia pays with her life for trying to interrupt that Baron. Baron gets smited, then goes down to the Nunu. Smite comes in a little bit early there. Two lands a great coup onto the Anivia, slowing them down. Anivia tries to drop the wall to cut somebody off, but it's not quite placed far enough ahead. Anivia and Pantheon looking to punish Short Circuit by taking their top outer turret. The top lanes are now even as far as turrets are concerned. Mid lanes are even as far as turrets are concerned, and Short Circuit has an advantage in the bottom lane by that outer turret. Kills 13-7 in favor of Short Circuit. They are now up by 6k gold. They are up by a Baron as well. I think they have potentially 2 dragons on their opposition as well, though Team Ink does normally have better objective control than this. Yasuo and Nunu setting up for this dragon about 20 seconds early. I've never actually seen a team sit there and wait that long for a dragon to come up. Potentially a questionable choice, but they had all lanes more or less pushed fairly heavily, meaning they didn't really have anything they could do to gain an advantage aside from take that dragon or try and farm out their jungle once again. I mean, they could potentially push that top lane a tiny bit, but having it locked down isn't necessarily a deficit to their team. It did allow Team Ink to get caught up a tiny bit in farm numbers there, but not as much as, you know, one would expect from 3 people pretty much AFKing for 35 seconds while they wait for that dragon to come up in the pit. It's going to be a huge engage under that turret. No summoners, sorry, no champions from either side getting killed there. Turret still being up, waiting on those minion waves to come out. Blue buff comes up and it will be stolen by... Who got that blue buff? Lulu got that blue buff. So Short Circuit, so Lulu steals the blue buff from Team Ink. And if you're trying to defend this turret, Yasuo takes a turret hit. We're going to have minions in there. Lulu now taking a turret hit, blocked out by that wall. Almost takes the second one for it. Almost surprised that nobody decides to face tank this turret, as there's not a massive defense being put up by Team Ink right now. Aurelia in that top lane. They will decide to start facing the turret. Nunu taking a couple extra turret hits. They do get that turret. There's a second inner turret going over to Team Short Circuit here. Big engage there as Aurelia tries to take down Yasuo, but it's not quite successful. She actually ends up getting deleted in the end there. Aurelia overstays her welcome, having an advantage over the Yasuo, but not versus 3 members of Team Short Circuit. As I forget their team name again, guys, I apologize. Team Short Circuit on the blue side versus Team Inc. on the purple side in a non-slow stock gaming semi-pro tournament. This is the finals matchup. A little bit of lull in action as both sides attempt to farm out their jungles, get the minion pressure relieved a tiny bit. Team Inc. looking for an answer to try and shut down the powerhouses on Team Short Circuit, short-circuiting all of Team Inc.'s plans. Lulu comes in and clears some vision around that Baron. There's only a minute until Baron respawns. We could see them setting up for Baron potentially fairly soon. I apologize, guys, I went silent there for a moment. Trying to figure out what's going to happen next here. Huge lull in the action. Looks like they're going to go for that top inner turret. Short Circuit methodically wearing Ink down. The Pantheon ult going to come in here. We'll see if it connects. The Nami ult comes through as well, but Pantheon gets locked down as soon as he lands. Aurelia tries to jump into the middle there, ending up focusing on the Nunu. Aurelia trying to come in around again, but Nunu in the way once more. The turret has gone down, so Team Inc. defending against 5 members of Short Circuit without a turret to help them out. They will come back to the Nexus turret, sorry, the inhibitor turret there. But Short Circuit decides to fall off, not actually sieging that top lane. Baron has come back up. We'll see if Team Short Circuit will go for that Baron. They will go for the Baron. Inc. may know what's going on. It looks like they are chasing that Morgana down. Baron going down to the smite of Nunu. Morgana locking down that Tristana, almost getting caught out as Lulu comes around the edge. Short Circuit now has that Baron buff on them, is looking to push their advantage, potentially going to go down the mid lane, take this inhibitor turret, go for an inhibitor of their own. Lulu gets caught out as Aurelia comes in onto her fairly heavily. Lulu does go down to the Pantheon. Aurelia goes down as well. It's 1 for 1 so far. 2 for 1 as Pantheon goes down. 2 for 2 as Yasuo goes down. Nami getting deleted. Double kill for the Caitlyn. Anivia now all on her own there. Tristana having been forced under the turret. The egg comes out. Why did you back off of that? The egg came out. Nunu might be in trouble as Tristana tries to rocket jump in and create Caitlyn and Morgana to lock her down, though Nunu gets deleted as Anivia comes back up. Anivia with about half of her HP, down to 300 HP now. The poke from Caitlyn's Piltover Peacemaker does take her down. X-Requiem putting on a great show right there, now sitting at 8-1. I believe she just picked up 3 or 4 of those kills for her team. She's going to sit here and hammer away on this inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Pantheon comes in, tries to take down the Morgana, does successfully take down the Morgana. Caitlyn doing a huge amount of damage to him, will not get away though as Aurelia jumps into that fight. Caitlyn almost able to get that inhibitor turret before going down. Not quite enough damage. Actually, I apologize, they did get that inhibitor turret. Yes, they did. Aurelia now focusing the dragon here, trying to get some objective control maintained for her team again. Short Circuit not actually going to be able to respond to this in time, so the dragon will go over to Team Inc. Anivia picks up her blue buff. They've got 4 members of Short Circuit around that Dragon Pixel Bush, looking to invade the opposing jungle. There is no vision on that blue side, though, for them. They're a little bit wary of going in against Team Inc. here. They did suffer heavy losses with that Baron buff last time they went into a 5v5 engage. Yasuo being fairly brave, though, all by himself right now. If he gets caught out, that would be his death. Team Inc. firing out their jungle will get interrupted as Short Circuit decides to come into it. Looks like they're going to try and defend this inhibitor turret in the mid lane as Short Circuit decides to try and siege it down. There will be 5 members of Team Short Circuit in this mid lane right now. A Dark Bind comes out, lands onto Anivia. That could be enough. Aurelia decides to jump in, trying to counteract the damage that would have just come into Anivia. Anivia down to about half HP now. Not Piltover, Ace in the Hole comes through, connects onto somebody in there. Dark Bind comes out but misses. A little bit of damage coming out onto the Nexus here. Sorry, the inhibitor. We're down to about 3/4 HP, getting down to about half HP now, utilizing that range advantage he has over most champions. Pantheon tries to ultimate in here, stops, or forces Caitlyn off, but he gets deleted as the entirety of Short Circuit just focuses him down. Nunu pauses ultimate inside of that Pantheon ultimate circle, but Pantheon decides to come through anyways. 1 for 1 there as Nunu goes down. This will be the Nexus, sorry, the inhibitor. I keep calling it Nexus. They're not quite there yet. Morgana taking a huge punishment from the Tristana. Tristana forced to rocket jump out though. Once again, guys, this is the finals of tonight's tournament. This is Team Short Circuit versus Team Inc. Inc. also known as Diamond Tim. Anybody familiar with them? They are the number 11 5v5 team in NA. Same roster, different name. Short Circuit doing an amazing job of stomping these guys down, putting them back into their place. Be like, no, we deserve this too. Oops, messing up my chip. guess. I just told my friend that the challenger team is currently losing. That is a fact, guys. They are down by 12k gold, down by 8 kills, down by 4 turrets. They may not lose in the end, but currently they are behind. We have an engage here as Yasuo comes in. Or I'm crazy. I don't even know what just happened there. I heard Yasuo. Now we have an engage as Nunu pops his ultimate behind that turret. The turret will go down. That is the second Nexus turret, inhibitor turret of the game. Team Inc. doing a great job of keeping those Nexus turrets alive, not allowing Short Circuit to finish us off without a fight. Team Inc. now setting up for a Baron of their own. Short Circuit pinging out that it has been initiated, though they will respond to this. It will be contested. Down to about half HP. We'll see how this goes down. And Dark Bind comes in, lands onto Anivia. The Black Shield comes out of the Morgana. She pops her ultimate. We'll see if she has Zhonya's is here. I don't actually think she has a Zhonya's. She does not even have a Zhonya's. Oh my. Morgana does escape with her life there, though. And the Baron does go down to the Pantheon. Huge team, but here Pantheon goes down. Yasuo is still alive but getting low. 3 members of Team Inc. down there. Rally trying to escape with life. She does get killed by the Caitlyn. Only Tristana left with her life there, going to go recall. That could be the game. 40 seconds until these 4 summoners can respawn. Short Circuit should be able to finish us off here. GGs have come out from both teams. Mid-lane inhibitor back down. That's 1 Nexus turret, 2 Nexus turrets. And that's the damn Nexus, kids. Alright, Team Inc. has been defeated. Not able to pull off the second victory in a row from our semi-pro tournaments. They did win last week's event, but tonight we have Short Circuit emerging victorious for that first place finish. Congratulations to Team Short Circuit. You guys have been working at this one for a while. I believe they may have finished first place in previous events with different rosters, or a different team name and similar rosters, but I don't believe they've actually emerged all the way on top in the last month or so. So this is the first time we're seeing Xkohi, The Dream, Drekium, Chody Walrus, and Pokemon Kenobi take a first place finish as a team in the Not So Stock Gaming Semi-Pro Tournaments. Congratulations once again, guys. It's been a great night for me. Hopefully it was a great night for all of you as well. Thank you to everybody who came out to join us to view the tournaments. Thank you to everybody who participated in the tournaments. This was Dark Orb Showcasting. Have a great night.